Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the entertainment headquarters. And it's time for the next episodic adventures, where I am continuing to discuss my thoughts and opinions on the show Batman the Caped Crusader. And now we are up to episode 5 and 6. Now, I will say this, up to now with the series, episode 5 is my favourite because I love what they've done with this particular character and how they've changed her up, her personality up, and they've changed kind of her persona up in this episode compared to what we're used to with this character. So, episode 5 is The Stress of Her Regard. Now, this episode for me is just a fantastic episode because of the connection with all of the female characters that are featured within the show itself. So you have got you've got Detective Montoya, you've got Barbara Gordon, and then you've got Dr. Harley Quinzel. Now, in this show, you know, Harley Quinzel is, this very bubbly when she's not at work, nice, friendly, friend of Barbara Gordon. And then you have, Detective Montoya, who's this, very, upcoming, very intelligent, very smart, very, straightforward cop in Gotham City. And then you've got, Barbara Gordon, who was obviously the daughter of the chief of police, the commissioner, sorry. And of course, she's also an attorney who defends people or prosecutes people. And they're all interlinked. Barbara is good friends with Harlequin, aka, sorry, Dr. Harley Quinzel, who becomes Harlequin. And then obviously, Detective Montoya is a friend of their father, but they're all interlinked in this mini friend group. And it was a really nice, strong story to feature these three women in the interlinking relationships among them. But let's crack on and talk about it. So, episode 5. So, after several insane criminals go missing, Barbara suspects that they might be patients of her friend Dr. Quinzel, who is attempting to date Montoya. In reality, Quinzel has adopted the jester like personality of Harlequin and subjecting the criminals to immense torture in an attempt to correct their minds. Barbara and Batman track her down to the basement of one of her patients, where the later is overpowered and knocked unconscious before the house is rigged to detonate. So the story, like we see, Dr. Harlequin, Dr. Harleen Quinzel, sorry, she was featured in cameos in previous episodes. We see her, getting to know Bruce Wayne when he is court ordered to, attend these therapy sessions in The Kiss of Catwoman. We then see her in the episode after that where she is helping, the police force, the task force. They're trying to understand Batman and try to, figure a way to capture him and to arrest him. And she always had like this bubbly, nice persona. But when you see her as Harlequin, she is the complete opposite. She comes across very cold with this demeanor, this very straightforward, very, sensible, lady who, she has this motive to correct the minds of insane patients, all doing it with a very, seriousness and totally different to what we have seen from Harlequin in the past, or the Harlequin I know. Like the Harlequin in Batman the Animated Series, which was her first ever appearance and where she made her debut. Harlequin was very much just as nuts as the Joker, and that's why he became her little girlfriend, became like his girlfriend and became his pudding. If I believe that is the term that he always mentioned, you're my pudding in the show. And there's a reference to that in this, with one of the insane criminals, well, insane billionaires that she now has captured in what she, I believe, calls the play, which I think she calls the playpen. So he's insane. He's just been fed his dinner, and there's one incident where basically he wants pudding, and she's refusing to have it. And when she's captured another billionaire, she sets this one crazy, inmate against the other one. Said, if you, bash him into submission, so he releases all of his money to me, you can have your pudding. And it was a great, kind of throwback and, reference and Easter egg to her and the Joker's relationship. And so I really enjoyed that. But the key for me in this is the relationships with the female members of this story and cast. So, Montoya, like you say, is this upcoming police officer who, has an attraction to Dr. Harley Quinzel, but it's Dr. Harley Quinzel that pushes it forward to go on a date with Detective Montoya. And then you have the interactions with her and Barbara Gordon, who is a childhood friend. So this really was an episode to demonstrate and show off the personalities of the women and the female members of the cast. And obviously the cast in this is brilliant in this episode. So Jamie Chung plays Dr. Harleen Quinzel Harlequin, and she's fantastic in the role. Michelle C. Bonilla is Renee Montoya. She's fantastic. Like I say, up to now, she has been my favourite second character in this show outside of Hamish Linklater, because I just think she's just a fantastic character, and I love what they've done with that character, and I love how she's like the yin to the yang to Batman. And this show featured Harlequin in a whole different new light. They made her serious. They made her come across like a real villainous threat. And she still has those quirkiness to her, but when she's Dr. Harleen Quinzel, not when she's actually Harlequin, which was a nice change up to the character to make her more serious and to make her more, a straightforward villainous character compared to the crazy kind of nut jobbish character that we're used to when it comes to Harlequin. In the story itself, if I'm trying to use torture to try and to get these insane individuals to, correct their minds, is a way of basically showing how insane she is as well. And some of these people, though, that she is torturing are billionaires with lots of money who she's making give up their money to give to her and to give to charities. Some of them I don't believe are insane, but she believes, as she's done therapy sessions on them, she just doesn't like them because they come across as just very selfish, self-centered human beings, and she basically wants to torture them, which in a way is her way of getting justice against them. The character of Batman and Bruce Wayne in this, he basically for me is a side character in this story. It's all about the female characters, and that's what I liked about this, and that's why it's probably my favorite episode as of yet in this show, because I like what they basically have done and highlighted the women, and hopefully with there being a season 2 coming, we're going to get more interactions with these three characters. I definitely believe there will be another showdown with Harlequin and Barbara Gordon, potentially as the Batgirl character in a future season. And as for Detective Montoya, because she is somebody that believes in law and justice, it would not surprise me if she, develops, not a hatred for Harlequin, Dr. Quinzel, but she develops this taste to want to take her down. And even though she has feelings for her, she knows that she has to do it out of necessity because she believes in justice and she believes in the law. So that's going to be a fun twist and take. And the action in this episode was, what we're used to when it comes to the Batman animated shows. So if I had to rate this, I would definitely give this episode, just because I enjoyed it that much and because I enjoyed the change up with Harlequin that I've never seen personally before, I would definitely rate this episode 9 out of 10. Now, let's take a look at the next episode, which I found, changed things up a lot because we didn't get many of these type of episodes within the original show. It was very much grounded, as well as, was very much grounded in reality with like this 1940s, 70s feel with, yes, the superheroes, but you didn't really have like kind of the outlandish like alien elements or supernatural elements in the show, except when it came to episodes with Ra's al Ghul and things of that nature. But this episode totally takes it down the supernatural route. And that is because the 6th episode is called Night Raid. Now, Night Raid for me was a very strange episode, and it really kind of took me out of it a bit because I wasn't expecting it. And let's crack on and talk about Night Raid. So, Night Raid, as I've followed, is... Oh, where we go? I've lost it. Yeah, we go. When a mysterious ghost on horseback emerges to rob Gotham's working class, Dent's mayoral election campaign is threatened due to the robberies happening on his watch. He is offered a donation from Rupert Thorne, but is hesitant to accept it. Meanwhile, Batman struggles to fight the ghostly directly. This is the spirit of Jim Craddock, the gambling addict, formerly owner of an old property that Bruce's friend Lucius Fox recently bought. He gains help from Linton Midnight. So, I've never heard of this character, Jim Craddock. I've never, heard of it within the superhero law within DC. Obviously, he's a real ghost in this, which really took me by surprise. The fact that, there is a real ghost in this shows that this show now, Batman Caped Crusader, can go in any direction. Because, one thing I loved about the original Batman animated series, it was very grounded, very, stuck to the formula and didn't push the boundaries too far. Yes, it was superheroes, but it didn't take it into any other direction other than that, except with Ra's al Ghul's character. And then when they did the Justice League show, which featured Kevin Conroy as well as Batman, all gloves were off and they went into every direction you can possibly imagine. Where with this show, Batman Caped Crusader, it was very much, even though I love Batman the animated series, this felt more grounded, more gritty, had a more serious tone to it. It fell on like the path of the Batman with Robert Pattinson. So that give this a little bit of an edge over Batman the animated series. Now, this episode featuring this ghost character, for me personally, I found it to be a real distraction of everything that had built up previously. And for me, it took us out of it. For me, it's not the greatest episodes in the show. for me, it was, like I say, a distraction. The fact that they brought in Lucius Fox in this was really exciting. I also believe this is a filler episode or a build-up episode to feature Harvey Dent's character, because this is the episode where you see Harvey Dent connecting with Rupert Thorne, which plays a part in the final 2 episodes of this season. Like I say, the first episode featured Harvey Dent in a cameo. He's been featured in the Kiss of Catwoman episode. He was Catwoman's attorney. So they've slowly been delivering and building up the character of Harvey Dent, which he will eventually become Two-Face. So for me, them episodes were, to introduce you to the character, to get you to know the character, and to then eventually build up to his eventual emergence as the character Two-Face, which I think are 2 amazing episodes that happen later on. And the voice actor who does the voice of Two-Face is Dickrit Bader, or Dickrit Bader, who I've never heard before, but he does an excellent job, I think, as the character of Harvey Dent. He really brings, that dual personality type persona to the character and the voice. As for the story when it comes to, Craddock, it was an okay story. Linton Midnight, I was more invested in him, and he was only in the episode, for a few minutes or a few scenes. Batman trying to sword this ghost character who kind of doesn't really believe he's a real ghost, which, is understandable. The fact that featured Alfred Pennyworth being possessed by the ghost, which was a great twist in this episode, was a great, find in this episode. I did enjoy that bit. And I'm actually quite enjoying the actor who's voicing Alfred Pennyworth as well. It's Jason Watkins. Now, Jason Watkins, he, for me, is doing an excellent job at voicing Alfred Pennyworth. I always, obviously, will enjoy, the original series and Alfred Pennyworth in that series, but this actor, Jason Watkins, is doing a fine job voicing Alfred in this show. And the chemistry in the partnership with him and Hamish Linklater, who does Batman, works very well in this. But this episode, it features a ghost that's terrorizing, the working class. And, his spirit is trapped in this mansion that's going to get pulled down and build, affordable houses and, shopping, spaces, office spaces for like communities that really desperately need them, which is a great part of the story. And the fact that he's haunting these people is, terrible, really. But it's nice to see Lucius Fox in this and the chemistry and the build of the relationship with him and Bruce Wayne as well. But if I had to rate this episode, I would rate this in the middle. I would rate this a 5 out of 10. I feel like this is just a filler episode to get to Harvey Dent. It's like a way to, like, obviously, it's one of those action adventure episodes. Like I said, when I did at the very beginning, when it came to Batman, the animated series, you had some episodes that were really well written, great, more grounded series episodes that drew you. Then you got the over the top kind of superhero adventure type episodes, which for me are fun as well, but they're not as good as the more darker toned, more serious, nitty gritty episodes. And this for me is definitely a filler episode and one of those kind of action adventure episodes. But that's just my opinion of this episode, Night Raid. What's your opinion of Night Raid? What's your opinion of In Her Regard? Because that for me is the best episode so far. I love what they've done with Harlequin. Night Raid I could watch maybe a couple of times in the future, but I would always definitely go back to Harlequin's episode. So far, it's been the strongest episode for me personally in the show. But let me know what you think so far of Batman the Caped Crusader. What's your opinion of the last 2 episodes? I've just give me thoughts and opinions on, and are you looking forward to season 2? So, with that said, keep enjoying your movies, keep enjoying your television and your streaming shows, keep on enjoying all things entertainment, and I'll catch you all at the next one.